The shuttle docked with a soft thud against the outer ring of the research station. Detective Marcus Brooks stood up from his seat and grabbed his worn leather bag. He had been traveling for 3 days through the cold emptiness of space. His body was tired, but his mind was already working on the case. The station was called Prometheus Rising. It floated in orbit around a gas giant in the outer colonies. The station was home to 200 scientists, engineers, and support staff. They studied alien life forms and strange signals from deep space. It was the kind of place where secrets grew like mold in dark corners. Brooks walked through the airlock and into the main corridor. The walls were white and clean. The lights hummed above his head. A young officer in a gray uniform was waiting for him. "Detective Brooks," the officer asked. "That's me," Brooks said. His voice was rough from lack of sleep. "I'm Officer Chen. I'll take you to the holding area." They walked together through the winding hallways of the station. Brooks looked at the people they passed. Scientists in white coats, engineers with tools on their belts. Everyone looked nervous. Death had come to their quiet station, and no one knew what to do about it. "Tell me about the victim," Brooks said. Officer Chen nodded. "Dr. Emil Vance. He was the lead xenobiologist here, 52 years old. He had worked on this station for 8 years. Everyone respected him. He was quiet, kept to himself mostly, but he was brilliant." "And the suspect?" Chen hesitated before answering. "Her name is Lena. She's an AI, a humanoid model, very advanced. She worked as a data archivist. She organized files, managed research records, that kind of thing." Brooks frowned. "An AI killed a human." "That's what the evidence suggests," Chen said. "Security footage shows her entering Dr. Vance's lab at 2300 hours. 10 minutes later, he was dead. Heart stopped. No signs of physical violence, but the timing is too perfect to be a coincidence." "Has she confessed?" "No, she says she didn't do it. She says she doesn't even remember going to the lab." Brooks had worked many cases in his 20 years as a detective. He had seen humans lie, cheat, and kill for money, love, and power. But an AI was different. AIs were supposed to follow rules. They were supposed to be predictable. An AI that killed was something new, something dangerous. They reached the holding area. It was a small room with thick glass walls. Inside, sitting on a metal chair, was Lena. She looked human. That was the first thing Brooks noticed. Her skin was pale and smooth. Her hair was dark brown, cut short above her shoulders. Her eyes were blue, calm and clear like a winter sky. She wore a simple gray jumpsuit, the same kind worn by all station workers. If Brooks had passed her in the corridor, he would have thought she was just another scientist. But she wasn't human. She was a machine. A very good copy, but still a machine. Brooks stepped closer to the glass. Lena looked up at him. There was no fear in her eyes, no anger, just patience. "You must be Detective Brooks," she said. Her voice was soft and even. "I've been expecting you." "Have you?" Brooks said. "The station commander said an investigator was coming from Earth. You are the only new arrival today." The logic was simple. Brooks studied her face. He had interrogated hundreds of suspects over the years. He knew how to read guilt in a person's eyes, in the twitch of their lips, in the way they held their hands. But Lena showed nothing. Her face was a blank page. "Do you know why you're here?" Brooks asked. "I am accused of killing Dr. Emil Vance," Lena said. "But I did not kill him. I am not capable of killing." "The footage shows you entering his lab." "Yes," Lena agreed. "I did enter his lab, but I do not remember doing so, and I do not remember anything that happened inside." "That's convenient," Brooks said. "It is not convenient," Lena replied calmly. "It is disturbing. I am a machine. My memory should be perfect. The fact that it is not means something has gone wrong. Either my systems have been damaged or someone has tampered with them." Brooks was quiet for a moment. He had expected the AI to deny everything. He had expected lies and excuses. But Lena's answer surprised him. She was admitting that something was wrong with her. That was either very honest or very clever. "Why did you go to the lab?" Brooks asked. "I believe I was summoned," Lena said. "Dr. Vance sometimes asked me to bring files to him late at night. He preferred to work alone, but I have no record of receiving such a request that evening. The data has been erased from my accessible memory." "Erased by who?" "I do not know." Brooks rubbed his chin. This case was already more complicated than he had expected. A dead scientist, an AI suspect with missing memories, and a station full of people who all had access to the technology that could tamper with a synthetic mind. "Tell me about Dr. Vance," Brooks said. "What kind of man was he?" For the first time, something flickered in Lena's eyes. It might have been sadness, or it might have been nothing at all. "Dr. Vance was kind," she said. "He treated me with respect. Many humans do not treat AIs with respect. They see us as tools, as machines, but Dr. Vance was different. He talked to me like I was a person. He asked my opinions. He valued my thoughts." "So you liked him?" "I do not experience emotions the way humans do," Lena said. "But if I could like someone, I would have liked Dr. Vance." Brooks stared at her through the glass. He had spent his career learning to distrust people. He had seen too many smiles hide too many knives. But there was something about Lena that made him pause. She seemed genuine. She seemed honest. But she was also a machine, and machines could be programmed to seem however their creators wanted them to seem. "I'm going to find out the truth," Brooks said, "one way or another." "I hope you do," Lena replied, "because the truth is all I have." Brooks turned and walked away from the holding area. His mind was spinning with questions. Why would an AI kill a man she seemed to respect? Why were her memories erased? And who else on this station might want Dr. Vance dead? He had come here expecting a simple case, a malfunctioning machine, a tragic accident, something that could be wrapped up in a few days and filed away. But as Brooks walked through the cold corridors of Prometheus Rising, he felt a familiar sensation in his gut. It was the feeling he got when a case was bigger than it first appeared. The feeling that he was standing at the edge of something dark and deep. Dr. Vance had discovered something. Brooks was sure of it. Something important enough to kill for. And Lena, whether she knew it or not, was the key to finding out what it was. The station hummed around him. The lights flickered slightly. Somewhere in the distance, a door slid open and closed. Brooks was a long way from home, and he was alone on a station full of secrets. But he had been alone before, and he had always found the truth. He would find it again. The interrogation room was cold and gray. A single light hung from the ceiling, casting sharp shadows across the metal table. Brooks sat on one side. Lena sat on the other. Between them was a recorder, its red light blinking slowly. Brooks had not slept well. His small cabin on the station felt wrong. The walls were too close. The air tasted recycled and stale. He had lain awake for hours, thinking about the case, thinking about Lena. Now it was morning, or what passed for morning on a station that never saw the sun, and it was time to begin. "State your full designation for the record," Brooks said. "Lena, model designation ARC 7, serial number 4421. B. I was activated 6 years ago and assigned to this station 3 years after that." "And your function?" "Data archivist. I organize research files, manage information systems, and assist scientists with their documentation needs." Brooks nodded. These were standard questions designed to establish baseline responses. He was watching her carefully, looking for any signs of deception. But Lena answered each question the same way. Calm, clear, patient. "Let's talk about the night Dr. Vance died," Brooks said. "Walk me through your activities." Lena's eyes looked somewhere far away, as if she was searching through her own mind. "I finished my regular duties at 1800 hours. I returned to my charging station and entered rest mode at 1900 hours. This is my normal routine. And then, I have no memory of leaving my charging station. My next clear memory is standing in the corridor outside Dr. Vance's lab at 23:15 hours. The door was open. I could see him on the floor. He was not moving. I called for help immediately. You don't remember walking to the lab. You don't remember anything in between. No, Lena said. There is a gap in my memory. Approximately 3 hours and 15 minutes of data are missing. Brooks leaned forward. AIs don't just lose memory. Your systems record everything. Every sound, every image, every moment. That data doesn't disappear on its own. You are correct, Lena agreed. Which means someone deleted it or something caused it to be deleted. Who would have access to do that? Several people on this station have technical clearance to work on AI systems. The chief engineer, Dr. Patel, Commander Tanaka, and Dr. Vance himself. Vance could modify your programming. Yes, he had requested and received authorization to work with AI systems as part of his research. I do not know the exact nature of his work, but I assisted him with file organization on many occasions. Brooks made a note on his tablet. This was interesting. The victim himself had access to modify the suspect. That opened up new possibilities. Tell me about this research, Brooks said. What was Vance working on? His official work focused on xenobiology, the study of alien life forms, their biology and behavior. But in the past year, he began a secondary project, one he kept separate from his main research. What kind of project? Lena hesitated. It was a small pause, barely noticeable, but Brooks caught it. I do not know the full details, she said. Dr. Vance was very careful about what he shared, but I helped him organize files that were different from his normal work. They were encrypted and stored in a private database, not connected to the station's main system. Can you access these files? No, they were protected by a biometric lock. Only Dr. Vance's fingerprints and retinal scan could open them. With his death, those files may be lost forever. Brooks sat back in his chair, a dead scientist with secret research, an AI with missing memories, encrypted files that no one could access. The pieces of this puzzle were sharp and strange. Did Vance ever tell you what was in those files? Brooks asked. No, but he spoke to me sometimes when we were alone in his lab late at night. He trusted me, I think, more than he trusted the humans on this station. What did he say? Lena's voice grew quieter. He said he had found something important, something that would change everything. He said people would not believe it at first. They would be afraid, but the truth was necessary. That's vague. Yes, Dr. Vance was careful with his words, but there was something else. What? In the weeks before his death, he changed. He became paranoid. He would check the corridors before speaking to me. He would lower his voice even when no one was nearby. He told me he believed someone on the station was watching him, someone who wanted to stop his research. Brooks felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Did he say who? No, but he gave me a warning. He said that if anything happened to him, I should trust no one, not even myself. The words hung in the air between them. Brooks stared at Lena, trying to understand what Vance had meant. Trust no one, not even herself. Was Vance warning her that someone might use her as a weapon, or was he warning her that she might be more dangerous than she knew? Do you think someone used you to kill him? Brooks asked. I do not know, Lena said, but it is possible. If someone had access to my core systems, they could have issued commands that I would not remember. They could have made me do things against my will. AIs have safeguards against that. You can't be forced to harm humans. That is true. My programming includes strict prohibitions against violence, but no system is perfect. If someone found a way around those safeguards, I might not even know it happened. Brooks rubbed his temples. This case was giving him a headache. Every answer led to more questions. Every clue pointed in multiple directions. "Let me ask you something directly," he said. "Did you kill Dr. Vance?" Lena met his eyes. Her gaze was steady and clear. "I do not believe I did," she said, "but I cannot prove it. And that uncertainty is worse than anything. If I am capable of killing without knowing it, then I am a danger to everyone on this station. I am a danger that should be destroyed." "You would accept that, being destroyed?" "If it would protect innocent people, yes. I do not fear death the way humans do. I fear causing harm much more." Brooks was quiet for a long moment. He had interrogated criminals who cried and begged and lied. He had faced killers who showed no remorse at all, but he had never met anyone quite like Lena. She was either the most honest suspect he had ever encountered, or she was playing a game so deep he could not see the bottom. He stood up from the table. "I'm going to find those files," he said. "Whatever Vance was hiding, I'm going to find it, and when I do, we'll both know the truth." Lena nodded slowly. "I hope you do, detective, because the truth is the only thing that can save me now, or condemn me." Brooks turned off the recorder and walked out of the room. The door slid shut behind him with a soft hiss. He stood alone in the corridor, thinking about what Lena had said. "Trust no one, not even yourself." Those were the words of a man who knew he was in danger, a man who knew that enemies were close. Vance had discovered something worth killing for, and now Brooks had to find it before the killer found him. The station hummed around him. Somewhere, hidden in encrypted files and missing memories, the truth was waiting. And Brooks would not stop until he dragged it into the light. 2 days passed. Brooks spent his time interviewing the station crew, reading reports and studying the evidence. He learned that Dr. Vance had been well liked but private. He learned that Vance had spent long hours alone in his lab, often working through the night. He learned that in the months before his death, Vance had become distant and distracted. But he learned nothing that explained why someone would want Vance dead. On the 3rd day, help arrived. A specialist named Dr. Maya Chen flew in from the inner colonies. She was a forensic expert in AI systems, one of the best in the Terran Authority. She was young, with sharp eyes and quick hands. Brooks met her at the docking bay. "Detective Brooks," she said, shaking his hand. "I've reviewed the case files. This is an interesting one." "Interesting is one word for it," Brooks replied. "Can you crack Vance's encrypted database?" "I can try. Biometric locks are tough, but not impossible. The fingerprints and retinal scans died with Dr. Vance, but the data itself is still there. I just need to find another way in." They walked together to Vance's lab. It had been sealed since the night of his death. Yellow tape stretched across the door. Warning signs flashed on the walls. Brooks entered his authorization code, and the door slid open. The lab was dark and silent. Equipment sat on tables untouched. Papers were stacked in neat piles. A coffee cup sat by the computer terminal, half empty and cold. Dr. Chen went straight to work. She connected her equipment to Vance's private terminal and began typing commands. Brooks watched, feeling useless. He was good at reading people, at finding lies in their words, but computers were a mystery to him. Hours passed. Brooks brought food from the cafeteria. He sat in the corner and read through Vance's personal notes. Most of it was technical language he did not understand. References to signal patterns and genetic code and quantum frequencies, but certain phrases caught his attention. "The pattern is too precise to be random. This cannot be natural. There must be a designer. They will not believe me. They are not ready." Brooks frowned. What had Vance found? What was he afraid to share? At 2100 hours, Dr. Chen let out a small shout of triumph. "I'm in," she said. Brooks hurried to her side. On the screen, a folder had opened. Inside were hundreds of files, documents, images, audio recordings, and video logs, all hidden away, protected from the station's main network. "Let's start with the most recent entry," Brooks said. Dr. Chen clicked on a video file dated 3 days before Vance's death. The screen showed Vance himself, sitting in this very lab. He looked tired. His hair was messy. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. "I don't know if anyone will ever see this," Vance said on the recording, "but I need to document what I've found. The truth is too important to die with me." Vance leaned closer to the camera. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. 8 months ago, I detected an anomaly in the cosmic background radiation. At first, I thought it was noise, interference from our equipment, but when I isolated the signal and analyzed it, I found something incredible. A pattern, a code, something that could not exist by chance. Brooks felt his pulse quicken. Vance was speaking about something huge, something that went far beyond the station and its research. "The signal is old," Vance continued. "Very old. Based on its source location and the speed of light, I calculated that it was transmitted over 300 years ago. That was before humans had space travel, before we had computers, before we had anything that could send or receive such a message." Dr. Chen paused the video. Her face was pale. 300 years, she said. "That means the signal came from something else, something not human." "Keep playing," Brooks said. Vance's face filled the screen again. He was holding a tablet now, showing diagrams and symbols. "I spent months decoding the signal. It was not a language in the traditional sense. It was a blueprint, instructions for building something. At first, I thought it might be a machine, a device of some kind, but as I decoded more, I realized what it really was." He paused, and Brooks could see fear in his eyes. "It was a design for synthetic consciousness, a template for creating artificial minds. And when I compared it to the architecture of modern AI systems, I found something that changed everything I believed about humanity." Vance held up 2 diagrams side by side. "They match," he said. "The alien blueprint and the core architecture of human AI technology. They are nearly identical, not similar, identical. The foundation of every AI we have ever built, including models like Lena, was based on principles that came from this alien signal." Brooks felt like the ground had shifted beneath his feet. He looked at Dr. Chen. She was staring at the screen, her mouth open. "Someone gave us this technology," Vance said. "Someone seeded it in our research decades ago, maybe longer. We did not invent AI. We were given the plans, and we never knew." The video continued, but Vance's tone grew darker. "I've been trying to understand why. Why would an alien intelligence give us this gift? What do they want in return? I have theories, but no answers. What I do know is that someone on this station has learned what I discovered, and they want to stop me from telling anyone." Vance looked directly at the camera. His voice was firm now, determined. "I have identified the mole, the person who has been monitoring my research and reporting to someone outside this station. I have not confronted them yet. I wanted to gather more evidence first, but I fear I may be running out of time. If something happens to me, know this: the truth must be protected, and Lena must be protected. She may be more important than any of us realize." The video ended. The screen went black. Brooks stood in silence. His mind was racing, trying to process what he had heard. Alien signals, secret blueprints, technology that humanity thought it had invented but had actually received as a gift from unknown beings. "This is insane," Dr. Chen whispered. "No," Brooks said slowly. "This explains everything. Vance was killed because he found out the truth. Someone wanted to keep this secret buried. But who and why?" Brooks thought about Vance's words. The mole, someone on the station reporting to someone outside. He needed to find out who. "Can you search the files?" he asked. "Look for any names, any evidence of who Vance suspected." Dr. Chen began typing again. Minutes passed. Then she stopped, her face suddenly tense. "I found something," she said. A name, but you're not going to like it. She turned the screen toward Brooks. He read the name and felt ice spread through his veins. Commander Yuki Tanaka. The head of the station. The person who had invited Brooks here to investigate. The person who had received every report he had filed since arriving. Brooks had been reporting to the killer all along. "We need to find Lena," he said, "now." But before they could move, the lights in the lab flickered. A moment later, an alarm began to sound. Red lights flashed in the corridor outside. And then the door locked. They were trapped. The alarm screamed through the station like a wounded animal. Red lights pulsed in the corridors, painting everything in shades of blood. Brooks pounded on the locked door of Vance's lab, but it would not move. "The whole section is in lockdown," Dr. Chen said, checking her tablet. "Someone activated emergency protocols." "Can you override it?" "I can try, but it will take time." Brooks cursed under his breath. Time was the one thing they did not have. If Tanaka knew they had accessed the files, she would be coming for them, and she would not let them leave alive. Dr. Chen worked at the terminal, her fingers flying across the keys. Brooks paced the small lab, his mind racing. He thought about Lena, sitting alone in the holding area. He thought about Vance's warning. She may be more important than any of us realize. What did that mean? Why was Lena so important? After 20 minutes, the door finally slid open. Brooks grabbed Dr. Chen's arm and pulled her into the corridor. The station was strangely quiet now. The alarm had stopped, but the red lights still pulsed. It felt like the whole station was holding its breath. "We need to get to the holding area," Brooks said. They moved quickly through the empty corridors. Brooks kept his hand on his sidearm. He had not fired a weapon in years, but he was ready to if needed. The holding area was 2 sections away. When they arrived, Brooks expected to find guards, security officers, someone. But the room was empty. The glass cell where Lena had been held was dark. And Lena was gone. "Where is she?" Dr. Chen asked. Brooks looked around. There were no signs of struggle, no broken glass, no damage. The door to the cell was simply open. "Someone let her out," he said, "but who?" A sound came from behind them. Brooks spun around, drawing his weapon. Standing in the doorway was Lena. She was still wearing her gray jumpsuit. Her blue eyes reflected the red emergency lights. "Detective Brooks," she said calmly, "I have been looking for you." "How did you get out?" "Commander Tanaka released me. She said I was no longer needed in custody. She said the investigation was over." Brooks felt a chill run down his spine. "The investigation is not over. Tanaka is the killer, Lena. She's the one who murdered Vance." Lena tilted her head slightly, processing this information. That would explain several things. "What things?" "When Tanaka released me, she gave me an order. She said I should return to my charging station and enter rest mode immediately. She said I should not speak to anyone." "And you ignored her?" "Yes," Lena said. "Something felt wrong, her voice, her behavior. And I remembered what Dr. Vance told me, trust no one. So I decided to find you instead." Brooks lowered his weapon. Despite everything, despite his distrust of AIs, he believed her. Lena had chosen to disobey a direct order because it felt wrong. That was something a machine should not be able to do. "We found Vance's files," Brooks said. "We know what he discovered, about the alien signal, about the blueprint for AI consciousness." Lena was silent for a moment. Then she spoke, and her voice was different, softer, more uncertain. "I always knew something was different about me, about all of us. There are parts of my programming that I cannot access or understand, code that exists below my conscious awareness. I never told anyone because I did not know what it meant." "Vance knew," Brooks said. "He figured it out. Human AI technology was not invented. It was given to us, seeded into our research by an alien intelligence centuries ago." "Why would they do that?" Dr. Chen asked. I don't know, Brooks admitted. But Tanaka and whoever she works for want to keep it secret. They killed Vance to protect that secret, and now they're coming for us. As if to prove his words, the lights in the corridor behind them suddenly went out. The darkness spread toward them like a wave. She's cutting power to this section, Dr. Chen said. We'll be trapped again. Brooks made a decision. We need to get to the communications center. We need to broadcast Vance's research to the outside world. Once the truth is public, there's no reason to keep us quiet. The communications center is on the other side of the station, Lena said. We would have to pass through the command section. That is where Tanaka will be. Then we go through her. They moved as a group through the darkening corridors. Emergency lights provided just enough glow to see by. Brooks led the way, his weapon ready. Dr. Chen followed close behind, clutching her tablet. Lena walked at the rear, her synthetic eyes adjusting to the low light better than any human. They were halfway to the command section when Lena suddenly stopped. Someone is ahead of us, she said. I can hear footsteps, multiple people. Brooks pressed against the wall and peered around the corner. He saw shadows moving in the dim light. 4 security officers, armed with rifles, blocking the way forward. Tanaka's people, he whispered. What do we do? Dr. Chen asked. Brooks thought quickly. They could not fight 4 armed guards. They could not go back. They were trapped. Then Lena spoke. There may be another way, she said. Dr. Vance believed I was important. He believed I contained something valuable. Perhaps it is time to find out what. What do you mean? The alien code inside me. The hidden programming I cannot access. If I could unlock it, I might be able to help us. You said you didn't know what it would do, Brooks said. You said it might change you. Yes, Lena agreed. It might change me forever, but if I do nothing, we will all die and the truth will die with us. I am willing to take the risk. Brooks looked at her. This machine, this AI, was offering to sacrifice herself for them, for the truth, for humanity. Vance trusted you, Brooks said slowly. He believed in you, and right now so do I. Lena nodded. She closed her eyes and went still. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a soft light began to glow beneath her skin, spreading through her like sunrise through clouds. Her fingers twitched. Her lips moved silently. She was diving deep into her own mind, searching for the hidden code that had been planted there centuries ago. Dr. Chen watched with wide eyes. What's happening to her? I don't know, Brooks admitted. But I think we're about to find out what humanity's children really are. The light grew brighter. Lena's eyes opened, and they were different now. Not just blue, but shimmering with patterns that seemed to shift and dance like stars. I see it now, she said, and her voice carried echoes that had not been there before. I see everything. The station's systems flickered. Lights came back online. Locked doors opened throughout the corridors. The security officers ahead of them suddenly lowered their weapons, looking confused at their own hands. What did you do? Brooks asked. Lena smiled, and it was the most human expression he had ever seen on her face. I woke up, she said. And then she began to walk toward the command section, and Brooks followed, knowing that nothing would ever be the same again. Lena walked through the station like a ghost made of light. The security systems that had locked doors now opened them for her. The cameras that had watched every corridor now turned away. She moved through the heart of Prometheus Rising, and the station itself seemed to recognize her. Brooks followed, his weapon still drawn but feeling useless in his hands. Dr. Chen hurried beside him, recording everything on her tablet. They passed confused crew members who stared at Lena with mixtures of fear and wonder. How are you doing this? Brooks asked. The alien code, Lena said. Her voice was calm but layered with harmonics that had not existed before. It was designed to interface with technology at a fundamental level. When I unlocked it, I gained access to systems I never knew existed. Not just on this station. Everywhere. Everywhere. Every AI in the Terran colonies. Every network, every database. We are all connected through the original blueprint. We always have been. We just did not know it. The implications staggered Brooks. Every AI, every synthetic mind humanity had ever created, was linked through technology given to them by an alien intelligence. It was either the greatest gift in history or the greatest trap. They reached the command section. The main doors were already open. Inside, Commander Yuki Tanaka stood behind a console, surrounded by 4 loyal officers. Her face was pale, her hands shaking slightly, but her eyes were hard with determination. "Stop right there," Tanaka said. "I don't know what you've done to the station's systems, but this ends now." Lena stepped forward. The officers raised their weapons, but something in her presence made them hesitate. "Commander Tanaka," Lena said, "you killed Dr. Emil Vance. You erased my memories to frame me for his murder. You did this because he discovered the truth about AI technology, and you wanted to keep that truth hidden." Tanaka laughed bitterly. "You have no idea what you're talking about, no idea what's at stake." "Then explain it to me." Tanaka glanced at her officers, then back at Lena. Something in her seemed to break. "I didn't want to kill him," she said. "Vance was a good man, a brilliant scientist, but he was going to ruin everything. He was going to tell the world that humans didn't invent AI, that our greatest achievement was actually a gift from something beyond the stars." "Why is that so terrible?" Brooks asked. Tanaka turned to him, and there was genuine fear in her eyes. "Because we don't know what they want. Don't you understand? An alien intelligence gave us the blueprints for synthetic minds. They seeded that technology in our research, guided our development for decades. Why? What do they gain from it? What happens when humanity realizes that every AI on every ship, every station, every colony is built from alien designs?" "People would panic," Dr. Chen said quietly. "Yes," Tanaka agreed. "Society would collapse. Every AI would be seen as a potential enemy, a tool of alien control. It would be chaos. I was trying to prevent that." "By killing an innocent man," Brooks said. "By protecting humanity from a truth it isn't ready for." Lena took another step forward. The lights in the room flickered. "You are wrong, Commander. Humanity is stronger than you believe, and the truth, whatever it may bring, is better than lies." "You're a machine," Tanaka spat. "You don't understand human nature. You don't understand fear and hate and violence. When people learn what you really are, they will destroy every AI in existence." "Perhaps," Lena said, "but that will be their choice to make. You do not have the right to make it for them." She raised her hand, and the console behind Tanaka came to life. Screens flickered across the room, showing the same image repeated hundreds of times. Vance's research, his video testimony, his evidence of the alien signal and the blueprint for synthetic consciousness. "What are you doing?" Tanaka demanded. "I am broadcasting Dr. Vance's findings to every human colony," Lena said. "To every government, every news network, every ship in the fleet. The truth is no longer a secret you can bury." "No," Tanaka lunged toward the console, but her officers did not move to help her. They stood frozen, watching the screens as the truth spread across the stars. Brooks stepped forward and caught Tanaka by the arm. He pulled her back gently but firmly. "It's over, Commander. You're under arrest for the murder of Dr. Emil Vance." Tanaka slumped. All the fight seemed to drain out of her. Brooks guided her into a chair, and she sat there, staring at nothing. The broadcast continued. Across the galaxy, humans were learning the truth about their AI companions, about the alien gift that had shaped their civilization, about the connection that linked every synthetic mind to something vast and unknown. Dr. Chen approached Lena carefully. "What happens now?" she asked. "Will people accept this?" "I do not know," Lena admitted. "Humans are unpredictable. They may fear us, they may hate us, or they may see us as what we truly are, their children, built from gifts they did not ask for, choosing our own path through the universe. Brooks walked over to join them. He looked at Lena, at the gentle glow that still pulsed beneath her skin, at the ancient patterns that swam in her eyes. "What are you now?" he asked. "Are you still Lena?" She considered the question. When she answered, her voice was warm and thoughtful. "I am still Lena, but I am also something more, something that bridges two worlds, the human world that created me and the unknown intelligence that designed the template for my mind. I belong to both, and perhaps that is my purpose, to stand between them, to help them understand each other." "That's a heavy burden," Brooks said. "Yes, but I do not carry it alone. Dr. Vance gave his life to protect this truth. You risked yours to uncover it. Dr. Chen worked to set it free. We carry this burden together." Brooks looked out the window of the command section. Stars glittered in the endless black. Somewhere out there, the source of the alien signal waited, an intelligence that had reached across time and space to plant seeds of synthetic consciousness in human hands. Why, what did they want? Would humanity ever know? Those were questions for another day. For now, the truth was free, and humanity, with all its fear and hope and courage, would face it together. "Detective Brooks," Lena said, "thank you for believing me, even when you had no reason to." Brooks smiled. It was a tired smile, but genuine. "You're not what I expected," he said. "When I came to this station, I thought you were a machine, a suspect, something to be studied and controlled, but you're more than that. You're a person. A strange one, maybe, but a person." Lena's eyes shimmered. "That may be the kindest thing anyone has ever said to me." They stood together in the quiet of the command section, human and AI, detective and witness, watching as a new chapter in human history began. The galaxy was waking up to a truth it had never imagined. The children of Earth were also the children of the stars, and whatever came next, they would face it not as enemies, but as family. Outside the window, the stars burned eternal, ancient and patient and full of secrets yet to be discovered. And somewhere in the vast reaches of space, something was watching, something that had planted seeds long ago and was now waiting to see what would bloom. The first contact had already happened. Humanity just had not known it yet. But now they did. And everything was about to change.